Welcome to the show. Today we're making pumpkin ravioli because it's fall and it's actually illegal not to make something pumpkin related if you have a YouTube cooking show. Anyway, I'm using a pie pumpkin here. If you don't have a pie pumpkin, do not use a Halloween pumpkin. They are too stringy and they aren't as flavorful. Instead, use a butternut squash and it'll be amazing. Slice in half and remove the guts. You can save the seeds and toast them if you're into that sort of thing, but for me, everything is pumpkin spiced and flavored this time of year, so I don't need to find yet another way to bring pumpkin into my life. Cut into quarters, drizzle with honey. This is very important because honey caramelizes in the oven, bringing out the natural sweetness in your pumpkin, which intensifies the pumpkin flavor in your filling, and it's delicious. Then season with kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper and roast at 375 for about 30 minutes. Now for the pasta dough, we start with 4 handfuls of 00 flour. The rule of thumb is 1 handful and 1 egg per person, so I'm serving 4 people, so 4 eggs, 4 handfuls, pretty straightforward. Season with kosher salt and a little bit of olive oil for richness. Bring together with a fork, scraping the flour from the wall of your well until you have something that looks like this. A shaggy ball of dough that's ready to be kneaded. And we have a Beavis sighting. Look at this little monster. If you want to see a bit I do about him on stage, check it out here. Anyway, take off your wedding ring because you're not a monster and knead for 10 minutes. Add flour as needed, and this would be a workout for you, honestly. At least it was for me. I kneaded for so long that literally I started to sweat, and then my Fitbit was like, oh my god, dude, are you actually working out? And I was like, I know, right? Knead until you have a ball of dough that springs back upon touch. And then we're going to wrap this guy with flour and saran wrap and let rest at room temperature for about a half an hour. Now for our filling, we want to combine our pumpkin in a bowl with about a cup of ricotta cheese, maybe a little bit more I have here actually, and then some Parmesano Reggiano cheese, and then we're going to roll up a little basil here. And this is what they call in the biz, chiffonade, but you can just slice it however you want. And then add it into your filling along with some chives that are going to add a nice earthy onion flavor. And then finish with some kosher salt, a little bit of olive oil, some freshly black ground pepper, and the most important ingredient is nutmeg. It's, there we go. Freshly ground nutmeg is essential to this dish. You can't skip on this part. And then bring it together, and then you have your filling. Now let's finish our pasta dough. Flatten it into a rectangle, use a pin or even a bottle of wine if you have to. Just make sure it's flat enough to fit through the largest setting of your machine. Mine starts at 7, so I ran it through at 7 and then once on each setting until it went down to 1. Essentially, if you put your pasta dough on top of a newspaper, you should be able to read the text clearly. That's how thin it needs to be for ravioli. As you go through each setting, the dough will get really long and somewhat difficult to handle, so make sure you flour the surface of the dough and fold it into rectangles so it's more manageable to work with. Once you complete all 7 rolls or however many settings you have on your machine, make sure you slice into rectangles. Here's one. And then roll it out and slice as you unfold. Now bring your rectangle back one at a time, and this is where we finally add our filling. I'm doing about 2 tablespoons of filling per ravioli, using 2 fingers as a divider to fill out the rest of your sheet. Then fold into itself and flatten out to make sure there are no air pockets. Then using a ravioli press, or if you don't have one, you could use a cocktail glass of some kind. You want to press down really hard and hold for about 10 whole seconds. Do a slow count out. I'm telling you, do more than you think you have to. And then repeat down the line. Carefully peel back the trim and you are left with your beautiful little raviolis. Pat yourself on the back. You did good today. I mean, look at this little guy. For the sauce, we're going to do a brown butter sage sauce, so add some clarified butter or ghee to a hot pan. If you don't have this, you can just use regular butter, not a big deal. Once it gets brown and nutty, you're going to add some sage, some salt, and some lemon zest, and this is going to start smelling so good. I mean, look at Beavis looking up at the pan like one of those Sarah McLachlan dogs. For just 4 raviolis a day, you can save poor little Beavis. After boiling for 3 minutes, add your ravioli to the brown butter sage sauce and just let it take a delicious bath. In the arms of the angel. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, flip, and you're ready to plate up. Of course, Parmesano Reggiano cheese and some more freshly ground nutmeg. This is amazing. And finish with a crispy sage leaf from your sauce, and you got yourself deliciousness. Not in frame, Nick. Nope, not there. Alright, there it is. Beautiful. Eat up. This was so good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. More videos are on the way soon. Thanks!